Chargers fans, take a deep breath. Today there are signs of a turning point in Los Angeles. Whispers of an addition that changes the middle of the field, an aggressive move to ignite the pass rush, immediate answers to the backfield drama, and a behind-the-scenes play that could redefine the offensive rotation. The question is, are we seeing Harbaugh's DNA fully take over this franchise? If you spot the signs early, you'll understand why the pressure ramped up right now. You won't believe what we've got today. So sit down, hit that like button, and let's dive straight into the news. Ready for the spark? Let's go. You know when a scheme is screaming for one specific piece? That's exactly where Harbaugh's offense is right now. The structure, heavy play action, 12 personnel, quick reads, demands a target who lives between the linebackers, wins on option routes, absorbs contact, and keeps the chains moving. And in recent days, a few quiet signals started popping up. Execs mapping opportunities, trusted voices cross-checking usage data, and a market window that typically heats up between weeks 8 and 9. The name gaining steam on that radar is Pat Freiermuth, and it makes a ton of sense. Today the group is functional. Tyler Conklin and Will Dissly lead the way, with Tucker Fisk and Oronde Gadsden second, rotating, but they're missing that threat who forces safeties to respect the middle of the field and frees up crossing routes for the receivers. Freiermuth brings exactly that, short to intermediate separation, a knack for finding windows against zone, and the edge to finish drives in the red zone. The profile fits perfectly with the physical identity Harbaugh wants, a real run threat, verticalized play action, and a tight end who punishes any soft zone. And there's something that speaks directly to Justin Herbert: trust in tight windows. Freiermuth isn't just volume. He converts contested catches, protects the ball through contact, and gives you a natural hot read against pressure. He's not a dominant blocker, but he's sound enough to sell play action and keep defenses honest. The financial equation isn't trivial, but it's manageable. We're talking about an already extended contract, meaning a meaningful but predictable cap hit and an asset that isn't a mid-season rental that usually bumps the price while making cap engineering easier. Bonus conversions and void years can help you fit him without tearing down the roster. On the cost shelf, the most realistic projection sets the floor at a day 2 pick with escalators for snaps and touchdowns, a formula that balances risk and reward for both sides. It's not a bargain, but it's exactly the kind of bet that smooths the offense immediately. Why is the chatter heating up now? Because the competitive context demands action. The Chargers opened the season with an aggressive identity and already showed appetite by investing in the defense during this window, signaling they won't waste their divisional edge. When a team positions itself as a buyer, phone lines warm up, agents call back, and prices begin to settle. Fans are split. Some say pay it and bring him, others preach caution to protect the draft. As usual, the truth sits in the middle, a fair price for immediate impact. What to watch over the next few days? 3 objective tells: any cap management movement in Los Angeles restructures bonus conversions, a sharp swing in his snaps and targets in Pittsburgh, and leaks about a minimum asking price. If 2 of those align, the conversation moves from speculation to real negotiations. Until then, keep an eye on third down routes and our 12 personnel packages. They often tell the story before the headlines, and that wasn't even the most surprising part of the day. There's something almost poetic about the way fate keeps testing the Chargers. When the offense clicks, the defense collapses. When the pass rush disappears, the front office refuses to let the season slip away. That's exactly what happened this week, with Joe Ortiz proving he won't sit on his hands while the defense implodes. The arrival of Oweh is more than a simple addition. It's a message to the entire AFC. The Chargers are alive and willing to pay for real pressure. Losing Khalil Mack left a hole too big to ignore. The pass rush flatlined, opposing lines were setting up camp in the pocket, and the defense looked powerless against mobile quarterbacks. Ortiz, who knows Baltimore inside and out, spotted the window at the right moment. The Ravens, stuck at 1-4 and effectively punting on the season, were willing to move one of their best defensive talents. The tastiest detail? Already hit a peak in a style of defense remarkably similar to what Harbaugh wants: aggression, tight angles, and pure explosion. Thorpe is young, athletic, and hungry. At 26, he arrives as a former first-rounder, still chasing full breakthrough. On paper, he's everything the Chargers need: speed off the edge, alignment versatility, and the motor to hunt quarterbacks to the whistle. For context, he logged 12 pressures on a team that could barely sustain offensive drives. Now picture that engine revving next to Tuli Tuipulotu, who, by the way, leads the team in pressures even as the line wobbles. This is the kind of addition that flips the locker room energy overnight. And the cost? Minimal. A backup safety and a late pick swap. Alohi Gilman, valuable but expendable, especially with Tony Jefferson rising and Derwin James functioning as a true chess piece. Put that on the scale and the math becomes obvious. The Chargers traded depth at a position of strength to fix their biggest weakness. That's the kind of cold-eyed decision mature teams make when they're aiming higher. Sure, there's risk. If Oweh doesn't hit, he's just a short-term rental expiring at season's end, and you lose a sliver of future capital. But the boom chance is real, and the ceiling is high. Fans are split. Some want the team to slow down and think about the draft. Others are yelling, "This is the year. One thing isn't debatable, the Chargers are done waiting for the perfect season. Harbaugh wants to win now, and Ortiz got the memo. With Mac's return looming, the defense can finally breathe. And while the dust is barely settling on this trade, the inevitable question is already here. Will the same aggressive approach hit the offensive line or even the backfield? Because the buzz says the phones haven't stopped ringing in Los Angeles. The wound in the Chargers' backfield is still open, and the front office's initial response was cautious but smart. After injuries to Najee Harris and rookie Omarion Hampton, it looked like chaos would take over the rotation. This week, though, the team brought back a name that knows the building and the system, Nyheim Hines. It's a low-key move at first glance, but it reveals a much deeper strategy, and maybe the prelude to something bigger. Hines joins the practice squad, but the meaning goes way beyond a line on the transactions page. He's a running back with real versatility, return experience, and a rare ability to separate out of the backfield. He's not just run and catch, he understands the timing on short routes and the mechanics of protecting the quarterback. And let's be honest, Justin Herbert needs exactly that right now, a reliable checkdown who keeps drives alive. The Chargers have struggled to convert third downs, and the lack of a dependable outlet has weighed heavily on the passing game. What's interesting is that Hines already spent time with the team in training camp, left a strong impression, and nearly made the final roster. Now he returns in a completely different context, an offense that needs solutions, not experiments. It's the classic low-risk, high-upside play. If it works, the Chargers gain a tactical wild card. If it doesn't, the cost is basically zero. But the timing raises eyebrows, especially with Alvin Kamara's name bubbling among insiders and fans. Here's the inflection point. The running back market is hot, and the Saints are listening. Harbaugh wants a physical, versatile run game, and Kamara would be a picture-perfect fit, an explosive vet with soft hands and the IQ to manipulate defenses. The problem is the price. The contract is heavy, and the Chargers would need to open cap space, only worth it if the front office views this season as an all-in. Still, the fact his name is circulating tells you there's smoke. Sharp fans already see the pattern, defense reinforced with Oweh, offense eyeing a difference-making tight end, and the backfield patched with Hines. Everything points to Joe Ortiz setting up a chain reaction of moves. The question is whether this was just the first stepping stone before a bigger swing, or if the plan is to shore up depth and wait for Hampton and Mac to return for the final sprint. While fans debate, one feeling is crystal clear. Harbaugh wants control. His style doesn't tolerate a predictable offense or a passive defense. Seeing Hines back is like watching the first domino fall. Because believe me, when the Chargers start moving like this, something big is cooking behind closed doors. And if you think the backfield was the last piece to change, just wait until you see what happened in the receivers' room. When it seemed the day would end with nothing but rumors and speculation, the Chargers front office showed again it doesn't sleep. On a Tuesday, the team strung together another flurry of moves that reveal just how committed Jim Harbaugh and Joe Ortiz are to a constantly evolving roster. First, two familiar faces put the blue and gold back on. Center Josh Kultenberger and wide receiver Jalen Reagor. Both hit the practice squad, but each serves a very specific purpose in the Los Angeles machine. Kultenberger, out of Purdue and Maryland, is the kind of player every coach loves to have in reserve. Smart, technical, disciplined. He won't trend on social, but he offers versatility and steadiness at a spot that's been a headache for the Chargers. The offensive line has struggled in recent weeks, both protecting Herbert and sustaining the run game. Having someone who understands multiple schemes and can adapt quickly to different looks is gold at this point in the season. Harbaugh values that cerebral type fast learner, steady execution under pressure. It's no coincidence this move comes right after a stretch with major instability on the interior. Jalen Reagor, on the other hand, is the kind of return that sparks debate among fans. Former first-round pick, quick stints with the Eagles and Vikings, and now a new shot in Los Angeles. Reagor is above all a speed merchant. He can stretch the field, create mismatches, and give the team an escape valve when coverage tightens on the primary options. Last season, he had modest flashes, but always with pop potential. Now, with the offense oscillating and the receiver room needing a nudge, his return feels more strategic than symbolic. To make room, the Chargers did what few teams dare. They made quick, direct calls. Michael Dunn and Kanai Maga were released from the practice squad, a move that shows how much the front office prioritizes immediate fixes over holding onto pieces that aren't impacting the main rotation. Those tough, necessary decisions reflect a team that knows where it's slipping and isn't afraid to cut deep to correct course. These transactions may look small, but they're a signal of something bigger. Harbaugh is molding the roster in his image, physical, aggressive, and allergic to complacency. While the market keeps boiling and the Chargers stay alert to impact opportunities, especially at tight end and running back, these targeted ads build the depth foundation that separates good teams from championship teams. If one thing became clear this week, it's that Los Angeles isn't just gearing up to compete, it's arming up to win. And the most exciting part, this could still be just the beginning. With the trade deadline approaching and the team staying competitive, there's a feeling in the air that the next move might be the one that changes the season's fate. The only question is, are you ready for what's next? If you zoom out and look at the whole board, you can feel the Chargers leveling up. Renewed pressure with Oweh, smart depth with Hines, surgical roster tweaks, and the radar locked on a tight end who unlocks the middle. The message is clear. Harbaugh and Horties are playing to win now without losing the long-term vision. Here's the question for you. Is it worth paying the price for that final piece before the November 4 deadline? Drop your take in the comments, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share. This conversation belongs to our fan base. We're in this together.